Okay, so we're going to kick off for the 10 key marketing trends of 2022. Let's go through. Click, click, click. Right. So I thought it'd be handy just to have a little bit of a look back at the last crazy couple of years and what it's done for internet marketing. And it has completely changed the landscape of what we're doing. So we know that back in 2020, when all the lockdowns came in, there was a massive rush to expand the online content and digital content with the whole audience, the customer base, just not being at work and just being at home all the time. And also a big time of change where everyone's sort of reassessing what they're going to be doing, you know, people's thoughts and patterns and what they want and how they react to marketing just changed completely. So it was kind of almost like in internet marketing, it's a little bit like the sort of dot-com boom back in the 80s, 90s. And it was just a complete sort of adapt or die mentality. Because if you didn't change, then you went bust. You just had to find new ways of connecting with your audience and the new things that they wanted. Then this year and the tail end of last year, the audience dynamic is changing again because lockdowns are released and people are steadily going back to work, and there's this strange sort of hybrid between working at home and away. So it kind of for big marketers, the question is, well, where's the audience now? Where they got to? How do I connect with them? And we've also got this other, massive clouds on the horizon, because we're going into a period now where there's, big underlying supply chain problems that have caused by COVID. We're starting to see the inflationary effect of all the support coming through and the difficulty in getting hold of goods. You've got energy prices driving the bottom line costs for absolutely everybody. So it's kind of just general economic gloom. Chuck into that a bit of climate change and a threat of argy-bargy over in Eastern Europe, and it kind of makes it a little bit unsteady. Okay, but big brands have to continue, and they will market. Their job is to market, to sell. So they've got, the bigger brands have got big teams, they've got big budgets, and so they put a lot of effort into trying to work out where their customers are and how to engage with them. So we have to listen to them and look at what they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go through a bit of a report that a marketing survey that's done of the big brands through HubSpot. They had about 27 key areas that the big brands were going in, but I've kind of whittled it down to the 10 important ones for the individuals and smaller marketers. Okay, and we'll try and look for the patterns for them and how it's going to affect what we do in terms of our marketing. Okay, so it's kind of like an inside scoop on what they're doing. Okay, so what I thought would be really good first, though, is just to find out where we are right now, where you are, what you're doing. Okay, oh, I forgot to click, and there we are. How should we reconnect? What should you be doing now? So I want to do a quick poll, if you don't mind, just to get you all involved. And we're just going to ask a really simple question about what your current marketing status is. Okay, so I just want to know is if you are actively promoting a business or product right now, and if you are, which of the various channels there is the #1 strategy you lead with. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see the poll on the screen there now. Let's just take a moment just to see everyone's overall results. And it's really interesting when you take this sort of poll from a wider group, and you might either going to reassure you that you're doing things the same as everybody else, or it's nice to see the spread of what everyone focuses on. And what you what you market is really good, and how you market it is going to depend on your product or service, really. So let's give a bit more going. We're about halfway through for people who've answered those questions. So let's just give it a little bit more longer to bring up some data. Any more? Okay, all right, let's just leave it there now. Okay, right, and I'm just going to show you the results of those. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see there that roughly sort of 2/3 of you are actively marketing. A third are waiting to find out, you know, to decide on a product or a route, which is fine, no problem at all. Everyone's going to be at different stages, and that's what Saturday School is for, to try and help you decide and to build up your knowledge around stuff. Okay, so which are the preferred strategies? So 23% social media and paid ads. I kind of thought that might be a bit higher, but not a problem. 5% or 13% lead off with video. I put either short form or long form, which we'll explain a little bit more in the following slides. Email marketing, that's cool. So people have got lists that they're going out to. Face-to-face, unsurprising, but it is a good channel for some businesses, and so it's SEO, so organic led, great. Webinars and podcasts, fantastic. Recommendation and referrals, that's always a great one to be able to say that that's your prime lead. And something else, no problem. Okay, so it gives us an indication of where we are. Importantly, that we've got sort of 2/3 of people who are actively campaigning, a third of the audience who are waiting to get the right channel or right product, but it's all going to be relevant for all of us. Okay, so let's just go on to the number one area that the big brands are going to be focusing on in 2022. Can anyone guess what it might be? What's going to be number one? Let's see what you think. Okay, Ian says video, Peter video, Joseph finance, Phil podcasting, okay. Video marketing from Edward. Any more guesses when they've put themselves out there? Pauline, social media. Okay. All right, so the number one is actually going to be influencer marketing. Can you believe it? So it is, well, you know, when HubSpot did the survey of all the top global marketing professionals, 34% of them said that influencing marketing was the top of their list above all other channels. Okay, over sort of 60% of marketers say it's effective for them, and over half of all these companies are planning to increase their investments in 2022. So why? Okay, so influencing marketing, okay, has gone from that sort of unknown structure of having a celebrity lead your brand marketing, or a band who are allowing their music to go onto your adverts, or people who are positioning products in movies. It's sort of developed a little more of that, and that's been sort of TikTok led as well. And the reason being that the sort of brands are going into that influence marketing is you've got these people with huge followings, okay, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million people on their channels. And the brands kind of think that if so-and-so wears my trainers, I'm going to sell more of them. Okay. And they tend to have quite an engaged audience, these big influencers. So they've got fans who are interested in their content and kind of influenced by the information they pass over. But it's not all bad news. You're probably kind of asking, how is this relevant to us as sort of smaller individual people? And it's because, we can't afford to hire celebrity influencers, because in fact, what's happening in 2022 is more than about 55-60% of the marketers are looking to invest with micro influencers. Okay, so if you see on the chart there, okay, we've got the sort of grade of where people stand as an influencer, and this is the number of the followers that people have got in. So micro influencers are people who've got between 10,000 and 50,000 people on their list. Okay, so it's possible for an ordinary person like you or me to build that level of list. It's entirely possible. Okay, if you follow all the basic steps that we include in our training. On Ben Mariner's got a course on how to build your social media audiences quickly. Okay, if you are an expert in your niche, okay, it's quite easy to steadily develop to that number of followers, and then you become a micro influencer in your niche, and then you can start putting yourself out there to the bigger brands who might be interested in your customers and earn from it and build your sales. Okay, so it's a really good thing to have in the back of your mind as a target. Start that as a target and then work backwards with the steps you need to achieve that. Okay, because you might have fewer followers than the big major celebrities, but you can bet your bottom dollar that your followers will be more engaged. They'll be more knowledgeable about your niche. They'll be more receptive to products or promotions that you put out. So you will actually convert better per number of contacts compared to a celebrity. Okay, and you're not going to have all the haters and trolls who are just following those big people. Okay, so it is a really important aim for you to build those your following, okay, so that you can reach this level and be picked up by bigger brands. Bigger brands. It's going to push you into the next level. Okay, so influencer marketing. There was an action that came in there. I must remember to click. There we are. So engage and build your audience to have influence in your niche. That's your action. Number one action for 2022. Okay, number two on the list. You weren't far off. It's short form videos. Okay, I've kind of, and it's second on that the list of areas that the brands are going on. It kind of links into the influencer marketing side, because the short form content is kind of all the stuff that appears on TikTok and on engaging quick adverts on social media. It's the hook that gets people to follow and build. Okay, and so short form video is definitely an area that you need to be building your knowledge on if you want to reach people. In terms of the global marketers, it's like 90% of them will continue with short form video or increase their investment in it. So it's crazy. the reason why they're doing it is because people's attention spans have dropped through the floor over the last sort of decade. There's been a lot of research on it. You know, so TikTok's job on their platform is to keep you swiping up and consuming. Okay, Facebook's job is to keep you clicking, which is why they actually they will promote angry posts more out to your friends than nice posts. If you put a post out grumbling about someone in a group or a product to your group, it will be seen by more people than a happy post saying, oh, that's lovely, because it's not interesting. And you know, Facebook, their job is to keep you on their platform so that you see adverts. So they know that they have to engage all the time, which is why the short form video is the one that grabs your attention. I think they did some research recently that in the average office worker now has an average of a 3-minute attention span before they get distracted, which is crazy. And for a teenager or a student age person, the average is 65 seconds. They've got a 65-second attention span before they get distracted by something else and move on. And if once you get distracted by something, it can take you about 23 minutes to get your focus back to what you were doing before. So, you know, a student sitting there trying to do homework or exam gets distracted by their phone, that's it. They're gone. And it's the same for us when we're sitting in the office, sitting in work, working from home. If you've got distractions around you, it's fatal. You're not going to get there. A couple of questions. Anwar saying, and Trevor saying, what's termed as a short form video? I don't think there's a specific length, but I'm talking you're talking a hook video, so it could be anything from 5 seconds to 30 seconds. Long form video, which will come up in the list, is the more sort of explanation advertorial length, so probably 30 seconds or more. Okay, so there's not a kind of a defined length for it. It's kind of more the use that it's being used for, that video. Okay, hope that answers the questions. Okay, all right, so short form videos. Last week we had some training about video and video production, which is just shows that it's possible for you to do things yourself at home or in your business. And short form video, you don't have, in terms of production, you can just keep on trying new themes and new ways of doing your video to see which one sticks with your customers. It's what people do on TikTok. They're constantly putting out videos to find out whether they stick, whether they get engagement, and then the good ones suddenly take off, and then suddenly you've got millions of views. So it is kind of like throwing darts at the dartboard and seeing which one sticks. Okay, and yeah, and it's getting to that. I missed that point. Getting to the point quickly. Short form videos. Grab. There's the point, and have a hook to get them to move on. Okay. So realistically, you should be using your smartphone and using some of the training we did last week and in previous sessions, and just experiment. Just try it. Do it. Okay. Because you've had people, musicians recently, who've become #1 records just on the back of TikTok exposure. It's crazy. Short form video, interesting content. That's where the audience is at the moment. I think they're bigger than Facebook now, aren't they? TikTok, it's crazy. Okay, so don't be afraid of it. Okay, number 3 on the list. Sorry, quick question. Craig, will the recording this session be available? Yep, as I said just before we came on, we record all of our Saturday school presentations, and about a week later after the event, they get added to our YouTube channel. Okay, I'll give you the link a bit later on. We put it in our emails every week. Okay, there's 63, 64 videos over in our YouTube channel. Okay, loads and loads of content. Next on the list, mobile optimization. Okay, so it's no surprise that the big marketers are spending masses on them on making sure that their content's visible on mobiles, because more than half of the annual online website traffic is on mobile phones and tablets. Okay, and that's driven by Generation Z, they're called, these young techies who are growing up and now suddenly getting really good jobs and increasing their spending power. They're the ones that a lot of brands need to connect with, because they're super fast-paced and highly connected individuals. If you put out the right message to them, they grab it, they'll share it with their friends, and it will spiral very quickly. So I think at the moment that the HubSpot survey said that about 33% of global marketers invest in mobile web design, because that's where their platform lives all the time. 85% of marketers will spend the same or more on mobile marketing, and 65% of SEO marketers say that mobile optimization is the most effective investment they make. What does it mean to you? Okay, so when you're making your content and marketing on all of the platforms you use, you will generally see a different option for page layouts. You've probably seen it. Have you used it? There'll be a desktop view, a mobile view, a tablet view. You can certainly see that on WordPress. You'll see it on loads of any other platform that you create content. It is your job to make sure that your online content works properly on different devices before launching, because you can see something perfectly laid out on your desktop view, look at it in mobile, and it's all off center and things are clipped off and it looks rubbish. Okay, so you have to make sure that your mobile content works. And our quick question, is HubSpot a paid service? HubSpot's a kind of a CRM service. So yeah, it's a massive software, customer relationship, lead generation software, but it's their job to help marketers. So they quite often have on their blog sites, they've got really interesting stuff and information on marketing, on what's working. Okay, so I always look at all the big CRM services because they're always putting out lots of interesting stuff because they want you to sign up with them. The last couple of years, our CRM system's been on Ontraport, and they've got sort of fantastic information. At the moment, I'm in the process of moving it all to Active Campaign. And they've got a load of information that's interesting for marketers. It's just keeping your information sources alive and trying to get as much different perspective what's working. Okay, so that's mobile optimization. Next on the list is social responsibility. So brands are desperate to make sure that their customers know that they're lovely people and that they're looking after the world and have a mission and are paying things forward and paying back. Okay, and it is a really effective way of doing things, as long as it's done in the right way, not in a sort of a greenwashing way, I think they call it, a thin veneer. It's got to be genuine, right? And you've got to engage with your customer base on the, find a mission that is going to resonate with your customer base for the product you're selling. And you can do it, and it doesn't have to be a national charity. It doesn't have to be Save the Whale. You can have a local charity or cause that you can subscribe to that will engage with your audience just as well. Okay, but honestly, you should really sort of try it in your marketing. Have a think, because it basically gives your customers that intangible reason to purchase with you when you come across as someone who wants to pay it back into another cause. They will empathize with you and they will relate to you. Okay, and it also gives you great content to put back into your marketing, in your social media, reflect it on your web pages, shout about it in your carts and shopping carts. Okay, this is what customers are liking to see. Okay, and if it makes the difference between someone buying from you and buying from someone else, then it can't hurt, and you're helping a cause, which is just great. Okay, so if in your particular sphere, if you can, have a think about what motivates your customers. Okay, see if you can find a cause that you generally want to support and build it into your marketing. Okay, next up, SEO. Okay, SEO is still a lot of people sort of shy away from it. It's still really, really, really important to get organic traffic to your websites and to your channels. If you're new to Saturday School, new internet marketing, SEO is search engine optimization. Okay, and it's setting up your websites so that Google and other search engines can find your content easily. And when people put searches into search engines like Google or Bing, they've got a big index of everything that's on your website, and you are ranked by how good your content is and how likely customers are going to enjoy it and engage with it, which is how you appear higher up in search rankings. So it helps customers find you for free, which is great. So we've got to ensure as marketers that our websites and content are as discoverable as possible, especially on Google. Okay, and that over time, it builds up over time to provide both short-term and long-term traffic gains. And while SEO isn't new, it's been around donkey's years, it's becoming even more important to bigger brands and all marketers to make sure that the fundamentals are right and that people can find you, because it's free. SEO. What have we got? SEO strategies. I think the kind of most important thing is getting, when you're looking at your websites, is getting the basics in place from the off. We talk about using Yoast as a really good, which is a WordPress plugin, which is really good at helping you decide on what needs to be improved on your pages. Okay, it'll tell you if you need a longer number of words or more keywords, and you just steadily improve your pages all the time. Alt tags on images. It just takes some work, and you shouldn't forget about it, to go back and just each month steadily improve your SEO. Okay, set aside some time. And Google's algorithm will change all the time, so you've got to keep your ear out for changes on that, what's working in SEO, because you might have done a load of work 2 or 3 years ago on backlinks, and then suddenly 3 years down the line, those backlinks become less important, and it becomes more about your page speed, page load speed. So are your pictures too big? Do they need to snap up really quickly? Right, so you need to keep on top of SEO and SEO skills, okay, and keep up to date. So basically the tactic is just every month, just schedule an hour or two to do some SEO. Okay. And it's a little bit of time investment every month that will build and build and build. Okay. A couple of questions. Craig asks, is there a way to use SEO with TikTok? So, I mean, I think TikTok, you can still tag videos. It's more about that sort of tagging side and driving traffic to other sites. And TikTok is only going to show videos based on whether you've promoted them or you're getting a whole load of engagement and likes, because if people like your video, they're going to show it to more people. Okay. So realistically, the most important thing is on those short form videos is having a call to action, if you can, to get people across to other sites. It's the top of the funnel to bring them down to through your social media pages to your websites. Okay. Sarina asks how to do SEO. How do you do SEO? Okay. You just have to start. If you haven't done search engine optimization before, you need to do a little bit of training to find the basics. We've got some great stuff in some of our courses in the diploma course that teaches you the basics of SEO. If look at Yoast, you know, if you haven't got our courses, save up and buy them, or you know, look at some YouTube videos. It's worthwhile doing. Anwar, realistically, should SEO be outsourced or done by yourself? For me, I would do all the basic stuff myself. Certainly using sort of Yoast side, because you've got to teach yourself how to do it right, and it's only by using something like Yoast and finding out what it likes and what it recommends, what it doesn't, you can then feed back into your content creation on other web pages and blogs. You go, you can, okay, I know that structure works now. Yoast likes it, recommends it. Okay, so to kind of do it yourself. And then, you know, if you were doing backlinks, yeah, you could outsource them. You've got to make sure that you get the right quality. Okay, because anyone can do a backlink to another website, but is it going to be any use? It's got to be a realistic one. It's got to work. So you'd have to check them. Okay, I've got to crack on because I'm halfway through and I'm conscious that Jay is sort of sitting on the sidelines. So let's crack on. Next one is creating audio content. Okay, so not something for everybody. In the last couple of years, Clubhouse has burst on the scene, and you know, there's this great brand boost of interest in people having a conversation. And customers and the audience being able to engage. Does anyone use Clubhouse as a regular tool? Who hangs out in Clubhouse or one of the other sites that have come along? Twitter released it, and LinkedIn and Facebook have all got their own versions now. Yeah, Andrew loves Clubhouse. Richard likes Lunch Club. Yeah, there's lots of different options out there because people have seen it as a really good way of not necessarily selling. You know, it's not got a great conversion, but it's about sort of brand awareness and being known in a conversation. So it's not going to be something that that works necessarily for everyone marketing their goods. But for instance, if you were becoming on slide 1, we talked about becoming a micro influencer. If you could then use that and engage with someone on Clubhouse who had a room talking about a subject in your niche that you're an influencer in, then try and become a guest. Reach out to them, say, hey, I'm happy to come on your show and be a guest and talk about my stuff. People love it because they're always looking for new content, and if someone comes knocking on their door with a good following, they're going to say, okay, yeah. So it is a good thing to keep on being aware of if you're in the marketing the right areas. Okay, it will just help you build that interactivity. So I think the general rule with it is just keep abreast of it and experiment. Don't be afraid of live content delivery. Okay, you can do it on Facebook Live as well. Just have a go with it. Get used to it. Okay. Next up is number 7 on the list for the marketers. Is, it should go without saying, is engaging content. Okay. It's called kind of inbound marketing, is the technical term, which is basically, you know, you've got people off your lead generation through social media, and you've got them onto your splash pages and your websites, and they've got to look right. They've got to look engaging, and they've got to have the right focus for customers nowadays. And it used to be, in the past, that it was the job of a marketer was just to put out a splashy big advert with a long sales letter, and with a sell at the bottom, and then sell that to them and go, hey, I've got the money, walk away. Nowadays, customers want more than that. They want and deserve and demand to be engaged with your brand, to be delighted, to have something back from you, to go on a journey with you as a brand, which is, why brand loyalty is so important. And, it's one of the reasons we keep on doing Saturday School, because we want to be giving back to our customers and helping people all the time. Yeah, we love it if every now and again you buy an opportunity from us or get some training to help you move forward, but we're giving you lots of free content all the time to try and build up your knowledge so that you become a success and become an advocate for our Internet Business School. Okay, so we're trying to tailor our experiences to help you as customers. We're trying to give these connections to help you solve problems. Okay, because essentially, when you succeed, then we've succeeded. Okay, and it's the same for your business. You want successful customers out there, because they will go out and they will promote for you. And that's a really powerful form of marketing. So to make this work, you've got to have customers at the heart of what you do all the time. Okay, just have it up on the wall as a sign that the customer is king. Next up in the list is long form video. So long form is, for me, it's the longer videos that will go on YouTube, say, to go on your website, to go on landing pages, webinar replays, all that side of thing. It's a much more of a sort of marketing informational length of content. Still, unsurprisingly, really, really important. Okay, and it isn't going to change. People like consuming on screens, and it's easier once you're used to it for you to be able to deliver a quality message to people once you've got your basics right. And nowadays it's easy for people to make videos, or much easier, because the equipment is all there in your hand with your mobile phone. And you just need to have a little bit of extra stuff, like some bit of lighting, a decent microphone, a gimbal maybe, to steady your screens, steady your hands, or if not, use this tactic with your phone, which I think something like that, if you put your hand over the mobile, it stabilizes the mobile when you're doing videos. A little bit of a tip. So building up long form video, you've just got to learn how to do it. If you haven't done it before, just try. If you've done it before, learn more and get better. It's that simple. You've just got to keep going on it. You may not, don't need to necessarily outsource. If you're not confident at all, then find a family member or a friend, Generation Z person, if you can, a child or a grandchild, and they will be so used to video all the time. Okay, as long as it doesn't have funny faces on it or rabbit heads or anything like that. But there's people in your circle who will be able to help you with it, and it's a must. People haven't got the time to just read full pages of text all the time. Nearly there. Blogging. Yeah, blogging is sounded, people sort of shy away from it, but it's still really important because essentially you're creating valuable content all the time. We talked about providing interest and value to your customers. Blogging helps you, and it gets you noticed because if you're doing blogging right, you're building in all the SEO keywords into your articles to help people find you. You've seen all over the place. If you type in best cameras 2022, there'll be a whole load of blog reports that come up. You can do that for any product you can think of. Someone will have done a blog post for it. So it's well worth continuing with blogs on your websites. Okay, you can do video blogs as well. Just make sure that you're putting in the keywords into those. TubeBuddy, I think, is the tool that one uses to help work out the tags for videos. Make sure all your blogs, whatever you do it, has a call to action to move someone onto a different part of your website, preferably where they can sign up to something or buy something. And really important, this is what some people forget to do, is to go back and update and redate your blogs. If you did a best campsites in Kent 2020 list, go back and update it and make it best websites in Kent 2021, and just change the wording, updated January 2021, 22. Yeah, just use that content, keep it up to date. Okay, because people just don't like necessarily going to a website and seeing, oh, there's a blog post from October 2015. It's not really relevant anymore. Okay, but the SEO value of it will be. So just update it. Okay, and one thing people really forget to do is to go back and check their analytics on their blog. How many people are viewing your page? How many people are viewing the videos? Okay, find out what engages people. How many people have clicked through from a blog? Okay, it's so important. Right. So part of your strategy and your actions, just set aside an hour or two a month, create fresh content and monitor the results. Okay, nearly there. It's almost a bit like blogging, but case studies. If you do case studies right to build leads on your website, it can have a fantastic benefit. So all you're really looking for is a really happy customer. If you've got a project or an example of your service that you know is going to work really well, start documenting it right from the beginning. Start documenting the journey for that. It can be a house build, it can be anything, just so that you've got that journey in pictures and words. And then as you're writing it up, you're highlighting your professionalism of your service, highlighting the benefits of going with you because you know what you're doing, or if problems come up, you can fix them. Yeah. And for the customer reading it, they can see, what you're about, what the potentials are, how you can use that product or service you've got. Okay, so case studies are really, really important. They help build that trust with your customers. People will come back and and look at them longer. They do help build your SEO as well if you keyword them right. And so generally they're just really great tools for lead conversion, lead generation, lead conversion. Okay, so don't dismiss the power of case studies to go on your sites. Keep an eye out for your success stories, keep a record of the customer journey, and just build a portfolio and try and keep it updated. Okay, always be on the lookout for a good story. Okay, lovely, nearly there. Last slide, or last one of the list 10 is from me, unsurprisingly, AI and automation. So AI is everywhere amongst the big brands. You know, when Spotify recommends you a song, or Facebook recognizes and tags a person, or you text a friend using Siri, it's all going to be via AI. And whether we know it or not, we're using it all the time. And so the big companies use AI, you know, not to replace humans. They're just trying to make it quicker and easier and cheaper, and also build data points and help them connect with their audience in a better way. We talked about earlier that that people's ability to focus on events has gone down, and that sort of feeds through in terms of sort of customer contacts and what your customers expect. So customers, when they're trying to contact you, want the sort of slick delivery and ease. They haven't got the time to sit on the days where people sat for 6 hours trying to get through to Southern Water or Scottish Power or Thames Water. Can you imagine trying to do that now? You just wouldn't. You'd fire off a tweet or a post to customer services saying, what the heck? You just haven't got the time to do it. In fact, I think nowadays most consumers expect a response within 10 minutes to any marketing, sales, or customer service inquiry. Within 10 minutes. Now, best will in the world, I can't do it. You send me an email, I've got lots of them. I can't necessarily do it within 10 minutes. But a lot of the bigger brands, that's why they are building sort of front-end chatbots. You're quite right, and you could see the chatbots coming a mile off there. Because they help filter out the simple queries. And then if there's something that can't be dealt with, it needs to go through to a human being, they can route it through to the right person. I had an Amazon delivery the other day that I got from Amazon Marketplace, repackaged screen, that brilliant price, didn't have a stand with it, fantastic. And I was able to use the Amazon chatbot within 5 minutes or 3 minutes to get through to asking for a phone back from someone somewhere in the world, and I had a phone call within 1 minute. I got a 20% discount and bought the stand off eBay. So Amazon, great. They know that they need to look after you, and it's cheaper for them to give you 20% off than actually to for you to send something back and buy something else. So everyone's a winner. Okay, so consider automation, consider chatbots. I've constantly talked about automation and the amount of time it can save you, because basically your time is super valuable. The customer's time is valuable, and you've got to set up processes right from the beginning to save yourself money. Okay, and give you time to focus, grow your business. So there's the number 10 action, is basically keep up with that technology and changes. Don't be afraid to try it, because even simple bits of automation save you time, give you time to focus on your customers. Bits of automation make your customers happier. Then they'll more likely to buy with you. Okay, so action plans across all those is basically plan out what you need to do and when on a regular basis. diarise regular times to do the work, remove distractions. Okay, I can't tell you how important removing distractions is. A couple of months ago, I turned off pretty much every notification on my mobile phone. Okay, apart from some of the chat messages like WhatsApp or phone calls, just turn them off. Anything you don't need, turn them off. How many times are you sitting there while I'm talking to you today, has your phone beeped with a news flash that isn't really news, or someone's posted something on Twitter? Every time, it's taking your eye away from your work, just in case it's something mega. Okay, if there is a really important news flash, you're going to hear about it. Do you need to hear about it an hour or two earlier? So you just go and look when you want to look. You look at Facebook when you want to look, not when your phone tells you to and stops your distraction. Turn off your notifications. It will be liberating. There is an app, one of the good apps, I think it's called freedom.to, Freedom 2, where you can actually schedule your phone and all your devices to be synced off for whatever period of time you want. If you want 2 hours clear, 4 hours clear, it switches everything off. So it's used by writers and web developers who just want to sit there and focus. Okay, because I said earlier, one distraction, there's 23 minutes gone. Okay, so freedom.to. Keep an eye on what's working for everyone else. Keep up to date, listen to Saturday School, look at the blogs, and keep on analyzing and your results all the time and feeding it back in. Okay, I did say earlier that we record all of Saturday Schools and we put them onto YouTube. I'm just going to put the link in there in the chat, Simon's Saturday School link. Follow that, like and subscribe, and then you get notified when we put the new content on. Okay, and then also one little bit of housekeeping before we pass over to Jay, is a reminder that each week the Saturday School link that we send out, or the Saturday School, is the same Zoom link every week. Okay, so the Zoom link you join today will work next week. Okay, so you don't need to resubscribe to Saturday School every week to get a new link. Just save this link, bookmark it, use it every week. Okay, we will tell you if we ever have to change that, but at the moment, just use it every week. Okay.